Okay, welcome to another video of 254 Repair. In this one, we're going to cover the repair of an iPad mini. We're going to start with the basics, which is removing the broken digitizer from the iPad mini. And one thing that you got to keep in mind is in this one, we're going to go over a
Repeat that, please.
really important secret, if it can be called, which will get rid of your ghost touch once you repair the iPad mini. So go ahead and watch the video and you will be able to see what is the difference between just replacing the digitizer and replacing the digitizer and not having ghost touch after you do it. So in this one, the technician goes ahead and removes the digitizer, which we're gonna fast forward so you don't get bored watching us removing the digitizer. You're gonna use a heat gun in order to loosen up the adhesive, and remove that digitizer from the frame. The next step will be to remove the LCD and clean up the area. We're gonna go ahead and clean up the broken glass from the LCD, and I'm gonna tell you right now, do not touch that LCD. You will leave a fingerprint that will be really hard to get rid of. So let's get started, and we're gonna go ahead and remove all the broken glass from around the frame. Um, After we do that, we're gonna go ahead and remove all the four screws that hold that LCD in place. So let's get started. Remove the four screws that hold your LCD in place. And the next step will be to lift that LCD. One thing that you got to keep in mind is that this LCD is very delicate. So you want to test it before you go ahead and remove it, which we already did by turning the LCD on. And then you're going to pry on the edges of it very carefully. Now, I'm gonna tell you is something that if this is the first time that you're doing it, you're probably gonna crack that LCD unless you really take your time to remove the adhesive. There's adhesive all around the edges, and you gotta pry it, put pressure, lift it very carefully, or the LCD is going to crack. Once you are done separating that LCD from the frame, go ahead and test it one more time to make sure that you did not crack it. Now we're going to detach the adhesive on the top of the LCD a little bit so we are able to lift that LCD from the frame. Once the LCD is lifted, we can go ahead and start removing the screws that secure that plate on the back of the frame. That we're gonna fast forward because there's a bunch of screws. Once it's done, we can go ahead and start removing the LCD connector. So the plate is out. So now we are ready to remove a small metallic plate that goes over the LCD and digitizer connectors. As you can see, we've been separating all the screws in different bins to make sure that we put them in the right place. Now that we got that metallic plate removed, or the screws from the metallic plate removed, we're gonna go ahead and turn off the iPad because we don't need to do any more testing. We used the broken digitizer and the iPad is turning off. And now we're gonna go ahead and lift that LCD and remove the plate. Now very carefully with a plastic prying tool, we're gonna remove the LCD and digitizer connectors. Once that is done, we're going to remove whatever is left from the digitizer circuit if it's still attached to the digitizer. In some cases, we just cut it off with a scissor and we just remove the circuit. But in this one, we're just going to go slide it to the left of the iPad if you're facing it and remove it from the whatever is left from the iPad that is not damaged. Now, if you have been attempting to do this repair, if you're a repair shop and you constantly attempted or you have done a few attempts to repair an iPad mini and your customers keep coming back with Ghost Touch on the iPad mini, here is the secret. Put Captain Tape on top of the connector of the digitizer and the flex cable that goes to the logic board. That those connectors, if they're not covered by Captain Tape or the black adhesive that comes with the iPad, they're going to create a short once you put the iPad back in the frame, and it's going to give the customer ghost touch, especially if they press a little bit hard on the right side of that digitizer. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove whatever is left from the all adhesive and the broken glass and gonna prepare the iPad for the new screen, the new digitizer. It's very important to remove any piece of glass that is left on that frame. Otherwise, it's gonna become a pressure point. And if you've done this repair before, you know that that glass is very delicate. Any little debris left on the frame will create a pressure point that will crack the glass, and then you will have to replace it again. Okay, we're ready. We are connecting the new screen with home button and everything included on it. That's another one. If you are buying online, make sure that the digitizer that you purchase comes with its own home button. You don't want to have to do a soldering job to transfer the old home button to the new digitizer. Once that is done, we're gonna go ahead and do a final check, put the plate back in place, and get this iPad ready to be sealed again. So we go ahead and put the three screws that secure that plate in place, and we make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. After that, we're gonna go ahead and put the big metal plate, the electromagnetic shield that goes over the logic board in place, and we secure all the screws that hold it in place. Um, Word of advice, make sure that you separate them because some screws are longer than the other ones. And if you don't put them in the right spot, then you're going to have pressure points that may even crack your LCD. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward this even faster. You don't want to watch all this and get you to the next step. So let's go ahead and test it one more time. Digitizer works. Everything seems to be working fine. So we're going to go ahead and put the screws that secure the LCD in place. And once we are done with that, we're going to go ahead and take the plastic covers from the adhesive from the new screen. And The final step will be to place the digitizer on the frame and give it a one last test, and we'll be done with this repair. So we put the four screws in, the magnets that came out back in place. Those magnets are important if the client uses one of those smart covers. And we give a final clean to the LCD in case you left any debris or any other stuff on the LCD itself. Once we are done, we remove the adhesive and we are ready to place the screen on the frame. Okay, we are closing the iPad now, so if this video was helpful for you, please give us a like, share our video with your friends, or go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more repair videos on electronics in general. We do repair cell phones, computers, and tablets, so you'll find plenty good tips on how to do the repairs yourself or how to improve your repairs for your shop. Like I said, thank you very much for watching.